It's Friday, Feedback Friday, the feedbackiest day of the week. It's Feedback Friday. And if you didn't see Scout, sorry, I'm really scattered right now. It has been a week. It has been an extremely stressful week. I'm still I'm still dealing with the end of being sick. Apparently, it has something with this particular bug. The doctor said it's not uncommon to see people coming in with this thing dragging on for 3-4 weeks. So awesome. But people decided to try me this week, and I'm just um and so yeah, I'm struggling with how to begin on this because it's funny because people said the comments on Tuesday's video were a shit show, but I read them and I didn't think they were that bad based on what I expected. There was a smattering of edgelords, and I was going to delete the comments, but people responded to the original comment, and I didn't want those people to. I hate it when something's deleted and so you don't see what somebody's responding to, so I'd rather just leave it there even though they were edgelordy comments. And I think that's sometimes the best thing to do when people are acting like obvious assholes, because um it's you know deleting the comment is almost giving them too much credit. And I know that there are multiple philosophies about what to do regarding assholes online. And there's no right, there's no wrong. It's just people's personal comfort. And I want to cultivate the idea that there are many right ways to do things. There are some obvious wrong ways to do things. And that's that. Again, not going to do the help split this channel because I want to complete the week promoting the crowdfund for Eileen's aunt. And thank you to those that have given. We're getting there. The family is incredibly touched, and that has been a real bright spot in a very, very difficult week. And it's just a lot of people are going through stuff they just have to get through right now, and that makes it super difficult. There are other situations where I had to have some tough conversations because I don't like going behind people's backs and I don't like ghosting. And so I had to be honest, and it wasn't always appreciated, which is hard and it hurts, but nothing you can do about it. And so the one thing that makes me hesitant to get into the feedback on Tuesday's video is whenever you mention Sweet Baby Incorporated, the conspiracy theories come out. And I do think it is a conspiracy theory because a consulting company does not drive industry trends. The industry trends come from, and people don't believe me, and this is why I don't bother talking about this crap, because I don't get a ton of active positives for talking about how the industry actually works. And it's frustrating because developers say they'd like AAA developers say they'd like gamers to understand how the industry works better. But when you try to tell gamers how the industry works better, you just get, no, I saw a YouTube video. This is how it goes. If people don't want to listen, there's no point in talking. And one consulting company isn't driving the trends of an entire industry, right? I found the comments on, the sort of nuances of the history of samurai and how, the scare tactics and the propaganda factor in. And that's why I think it's kind of interesting to bring in um Japanese culture into Assassin's Creed, because, obviously, again, the Templars were not an evil fascist organization, right? They weren't a society obsessed with order. And people bring up all these other things about Assassin's Creed, but the reality is that the central premise that the Templars are evil is just not. The entire depiction of the Templars is ahistoric. And a lot of people miss that point that I'm making, when and they don't do the assassins and the Templars anymore, maybe for that reason. It's like, I would rather reward the I would rather reward Ubisoft for trying to do things with history, because, they were able to rebuild Notre Dame Cathedral with the help of the model they made for Assassin's Creed Unity. They created kind of an artist rendering of the former city of Baghdad. That's not the footprint of the city now. That city that is in Mirage doesn't exist anymore. And so they painstakingly recreated it from historical records, incomplete historical records. And you don't just do that to make money. You do that as a labor of love. So to the person who said, "Oh yes, defend the evil corporation, the rich corporation," or something like that, I don't remember what it was. I'm not defending the corporation. I'm defending the devs I know, the individual humans who really do care. I was really clear. I'm not defending the marketing department. I'm not defending, the money people. It's just the people in good faith making games we love under a ton of corporate headwinds. And this is the problem. We forget that there are real people making these things. These games are not made by elf automatons. They're made by people with feelings, and sometimes it's not great, And it's funny because people apologize to me for saying that they're excited for Veilguard, and you don't have to do that. You're excited. That's great. The Just because I'm not doesn't mean I'm not happy that you are. I want the game to do well. I don't want any game to fail. I just can't, because they lied to my face. And one person, how do you know the person who said you knew enough to actually lie? Maybe they didn't know. Mike Laidlaw was the guy who lied to my face. And he was the creative director. So he knew. He just lied right to my face. And after that, I just, it was a behind closed doors thing at E3. I asked the question. They said it was Qunari. It's not. It's Tal Bischoff. They do not seem to know what to do with the Qunari. And that was my favorite of the fantasy races in Dragon Age, just because I always like the new one, and that was new. And it was the same thing with the Krogan, right, in Mass Effect. I liked that it was new, and I liked that it was foreign, and I liked that they had a moral system that was not ours. And it's a difficult time to do fantasy races like that, precisely because now the orcs have to be a peace-loving agrarian society, or apparently we're racist. So, yeah, I think that everybody just has to... You have to live according to your own conscience and not go, well, people were mean to me, so it's okay to be mean to other people. There's no shortcut for that. And so I want to move on to the Manly Monday videos. There's one comment where, remember I said somebody can be rude but not be wrong? This is an example of a comment where, and the thing is, in girl world, this would be considered a totally over the line comment. And I know that in some groups of men, it's not. And this is a subjectivity of rudeness. But keep in mind, I said I was sick this week. And I've said off the top of these videos that I'm still fighting a cold. So this guy picked this week to give me a note on being too scattered in my thoughts. And you know what? He's probably not wrong. But this week of all weeks, to pick on me for that and saying, I feel like you needed to sit with this another hour to figure out how to pull it together before recording. Nobody, I'm sick. I'm sick. It's, no matter how long I sat with it, there's only so much you can do when you got brain fog from being ill. This is the empathy that is lacking. And this is one of these things where I feel like you needed to. No, you think I needed to. That's not a feeling. And say, okay, I had trouble following this video. That's fine. That was his comment. Fair enough. But telling me what I needed to do, that, women don't say that to each other without getting called on being rude. And this is part of the problem that, like I said, I know this is an acceptable way to speak to people in some quarters. And this is the real problem with communication, is that men are socialized very differently than women are. And that doesn't mean some women don't talk that way, but they're doing something even though they know it's seen as rude. I'm just being honest, right? And this brings me to my next comment. If we only attract the right people by saying what we really think, how do we develop and maintain the courage to do that? Theme of the friggin' week. Personally, I sometimes try to avoid shutting people down by leaving behind my own certainty, trying to wonder if their beliefs hold weight. This results in me losing track of my own ideas, not to mention the ways ideas and beliefs have evolved over time. I'm still trying to figure out how this applies to speaking authentically to attract the right people. I guess acting based on what I want works for me better than just saying what my beliefs are. And I think what it comes down to is behaving consistently with your beliefs. So if you say you believe one thing, act in accordance with it, and avoiding hypocrisy is really, really hard sometimes. And that's part of the reason I'm so tired this week. I am worn out trying to uphold my values and trying to live authentically and continue to make content while I'm not at my best. And obviously, not being at your best means criticism, especially criticism that feels unfair, stings more. It's more debilitating. And so, for the last 2-3 weeks, I've just felt like I cannot win. And I know that's not true because, then I look at the thing with Eileen's aunt's crowdfund. And it's like, that's an objectively good thing. And even Stalker Chan has, I guess, recognized it's a bad idea to call me a narcissist this week. Because now she's changed her tune to something that, I forget what it was, but it's like, she really wanted to say narcissist, but she didn't say narcissist. When the news came out that you can still see people who block you on Twitter now, thanks Elon. I think it's a terrible idea, but I jokingly said, Stalker Chan's not gonna be happy. Cause now she can't fake nice on her main while taking pot shots on alts until she finally can't take it anymore and explodes on her main. Everybody's gonna see it now. She can't hide it. But yeah, it's just been a Kobayashi Maru of like I went back to Twitch this week and I did overextend myself some. I was tired after that. And I made content and I thought that by just saying like I'm not feeling well, people would understand what that meant. But there's so many people out there who are like, if you can't be perfect, go away. And that is so against my ethical code. I don't expect perfection from people. I expect integrity. And I think we gotta reward people for trying even when they're not at their best, because perfect's a lie. I say this and It's Not Therapy. Perfect's a lie. Stop trying to be perfect. I ran an It's Not Therapy rerun this week because in those, that's science reporting. That's not just me voicing my opinions on YouTube. If I really fuck up something there, it matters. But yeah, people are so critical of others. And I don't get it. Like, there are lines. You do have to set lines and you do have to set boundaries. But to me, if I could take one phrase out of the English language, it's I feel like you. Sorry, commenter, you just hit on one of my pet peeves here. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like you needed to sit with this another hour to figure out how to pull it together before recording. No, you think that. You're judging me. And that's fine, but own it. None of this I feel like. I know that's a verbal tick with people, but I do find it manipulative because of the number of times it's like, I'm sick. No matter how long I sat with it, it wasn't going to be any better. I delayed shooting that video for 2 fucking days. Some weeks it just doesn't come together. Another hour wouldn't have made a difference. It was getting worse instead of better. But oh no, none of that's valid because all this guy can say now is, I'm just expressing how I feel. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. And that may hurt to hear. But anybody who is telling me how I can improve should be prepared to take how they can improve. Otherwise, it's unequal. And I'm not saying that just for this person. I'm saying this for everybody who uses that I feel like you tick. This is a direct result of therapeutic language being weaponized and manipulated to not get better instead of improve. I feel needs to be followed by the inside out character of your choice. Happy, sad, angry, scared, anxious, ennui, embarrassed, right? Pick a character. Pick a version of that character. But I feel like you, no, bullshit, you're judging someone. And we have to be clear-eyed about this stuff. Because if we're not, the negativity just, and I hate because people manipulate negativity. I'm not a good vibes only kind of person. Remember, I isolated this comment because it's an example of person was rude, but right, that I'm more scattered than normal this week. And fuck, it's the best I can do. And I think that it's important to talk about this because a lot of people do assume the worst of some people, and then other people, there's this real bad habit we have in society of when someone's nice and considerate, they're expected to have this unending well of consideration. And some people get unlimited get out of jail free cards because of their trauma, and people like me don't. And it's very frustrating sometimes because I do believe that there has to be an equal level of accountability for everyone. Not some people are accountable and some people are not. And there's stuff going on in real life with me. Not that this is my real life, this is me on camera. But stuff in my real life where I'm eating shit for stuff other people did right now. I opposed, I reported it, and people are squeezing me for more money now because of something somebody else did. And it's really frigging frustrating because it's like, gotta eat the shit because this is business. And someone said to me, you have to understand they're traumatized. And I almost ripped their head off. I didn't. But I said, look, we were all treated very badly by this person. We can't take it out on each other. And I really think that that's bringing this full circle, the core of the problem in gaming. That we want someone we can see and touch, at least over the internet, to blame so that we can lash back at them and punish them for our bad feelings. And that wasn't the person that hurt you. As much as Anita Sarkeesian became the patron saint of all toxic progressivism in gaming, she didn't do it alone. That was a wave. That was a trend. The reason she got picked as the poster girl for feminism in gaming is because the male gatekeepers at companies decided she's our girl. She's the one we're going to embrace. She did not do that alone. And the reason that I am very distrusting of male feminist allies or queer allies or trans allies is they often pick the perspective to normalize that changes the status quo the absolute least. Let's face it, all the nuking of boobs, all the more mixed race women, all of that. And I say mixed race because the only black woman, well, okay, Angela Bassett's character in Horizon, but the only black woman, not mixed race, black, I can think of in a video game right now that was not depicted stereotypically like in a Grand Theft Auto game is like Vivienne from Inquisition. And I didn't like Inquisition overall, but I really liked that character. Indira Varma did a great job voicing her. And yes, it was a race swap voice actor. I don't care about that stuff. If you can find a voice actress or actor who is the same race as the character, all the better. Try. I don't think it's necessary, and I think Indira Varma did a great job on that. But these are white straight cisgender men working out their guilt. That's what's going on in gaming right now. Not some external conspiracy, not Anita Sarkeesian, not video game companies, and I will do more on this. Sorry, not consulting companies like Sweet Baby. These are the white, straight, cisgender men, WSCM, in gaming, working out their own guilt. Because they know in their hearts that decisions they made in the past were craven. They were petty. They were objectifying. They know what their motivations were. And they're working out their guilt. Now, I believe you can have women with my measurements in games and still not have it be a sexually objectified character. The big problem is we're hard to mocap. And I understand that. I look shit in a mocap suit. But there's a way to do it. We're not going to do it until these WSCM gatekeepers get over their fucking guilt about, why they made Miranda in Mass Effect, for instance, And this is where I actually think Death of the Author comes into play. Because, okay, you did a bad before, guys. Stop stripping out entire groups of people from your games because you have your own guilt. Deal with your own fucking guilt. Don't hide that in, oh, women want this. Oh no, the women you're choosing to listen to want this because their comments mimic the voice of your own guilt. That's not women everywhere. They're listening to a minority of women, I'm sorry, because they can't get over themselves. And I'll leave it here because I'm out of time. Donate to Eileen's Aunt's crowdfund. Please, 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 please. We're getting there. We're getting there. Slow but sure. We're getting there. We can save an old lady's house. We can do some Spider-Man shit. Thanks for watching and have a great weekend.